ever led a team of people? Maybe right now you might be leading people in your organization, in your company, or in your department, or you might actually be part of a team, either in a huge organization or in a business, but the rumors are true. Leading people and having them get things done is no small talk. Imagine the frustration that leaders have to go through to put up with people who will do the bare minimum. Even when there's a challenge, they stick to nothing but the bare minimum. Sometimes it's people doing the very most to stay away from work. You've probably met that guy who will go to the supervisor and say, "Boss, my grandmother died." I say, "Oh, okay, please take some days off." And then somehow, 2 months later, this guy forgets, comes back again and says, "My grandmother died." Then you say, "How many grandmothers do you have?" Sometimes, instead of getting things done, it's people spending so much time on social media, scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. Now there's a 21st century term called doom scrolling. Okay. With a show of hands, how many have been on social media this morning? I'm part of them. Again, with a show of hands, how many have been on social media in the last 1 hour? Yeah. Okay. With a show of hands again, are you on social media right now? Did you know that we spend 500 million years worldwide every year on social media? That's like 720 billion minutes spent on social media every day. The question is not why. The question is how. How does social media manage to have all of us on the platform in this manner? What is it that these platforms have discovered in their evolution that they keep doing and without a doubt is working? Social media uses a system that shows us content, which is called an algorithm. This algorithm shows us content based on three things. The first being consumption. What are you consuming? What kind of content are you consuming as a person? And then the second part is interaction. Who are you interacting with? So social media will show you even what other people are interacting with because it shows based off on interaction. And the third part is relevance. So yes, this is your content, and yes, this is your community, but when is it relevant for you to see this content? You'll realize that there's actually some videos that just show up in the night. Some videos show up on the weekend. But the algorithm is built to foster three things, which we're going to talk about a little bit more. And the first being is interest. For the algorithm, for social media, this is the foundation. The moment it captures what you are interested in, that's it, that's the gateway. And then the next part of it is engagement. So this is the content that you're interested in, but how do you engage? So that's why we have sharing, you can now react, you can repost, you can comment. For the algorithm, you are engaging with the content. And the final part of it is satisfaction. You used to spend 5 minutes on Facebook or you used to spend 10 minutes on Instagram, but nowadays it's hours. For the algorithm, that means satisfaction. So now we know why when somebody's on social media, they can't get things done. Social media has got its game on A. So should we limit social media use when we're working? Should we have firewalls when we're working? Should we monitor people when we're working? On the contrary, we might actually lean in a bit more and learn just how social media is able to foster these three things and see how we can replicate that for the people that we work with. If you have led a team before, or if you are currently leading people, you will agree with me that you want to lead people who are really interested in the work that they do. You want to lead people who are engaged in the work that they do. You want to lead people who are finding so much satisfaction and fulfillment in the work that they do. And equally, if you're on a team, it's usually that work that you're so deeply interested in. You find so much curiosity when you're working on it. It gives you that level of satisfaction and fulfillment. You find that's the work that you're on the most. On the flip side of things, when people are not engaged, when they are not interested in the work that they do, and they don't find that level of satisfaction, they quit, they leave. Some of you right now are probably working with that person, and you know deep down your heart that this person already quit. We are just waiting for a resignation letter. It's not here. If you open your YouTube right now, I bet you the first 5 videos that are on your feed probably offer a better description of who you are than a friend would. What social media has done is it's given people the space to show up as who they really are, as humans that they are. As we work with people, as we lead people, when people don't show up as the humans that they are, they feel boxed into objectives and goals and targets. And now their work is, how do I maintain this while I still have a paycheck? If you open your Facebook right now, before any status, before any post, the very first thing on top is actually a prompt. It says, what's on your mind? Social media has created a space for people to share their perspectives. Social media has given people a voice. Recently, we saw how youths in Kenya took to social media as they were protesting against the civil and economic affairs in their country. Now, I want to believe that it's not because they are youths and they took to social media because it's a digital age, but because they know that they have a voice on social media, they will be heard. The question, therefore, is in our teams, with the people that we work with the people that we lead, do they feel heard when they speak? Do they feel like they have a voice when they speak? In my work with organizations in the past years, I have discovered that to build that level of interest, that level of engagement, and that level of satisfaction, there's actually a structured way. For interest, if we want to build that level of interest, it's actually learning and understanding each person's strengths and values and aligning those with the task. Humans cannot help but gravitate towards things that they are interested in. And so they will thrive when they are understood in terms of their strengths and their values. And to build that level of engagement, at least there has to be a sense of understanding how a person's individual work adds to the shared objectives of the entire team or the entire organization. You may have heard of this story. In 1962, President Kennedy took a tour to NASA. At the time, there was the race of the first man on the moon. So he took a tour to NASA, and while he was on tour, he saw a janitor, and he walked up to the janitor and said, "Hi, I'm Kennedy. What do you do?" And the janitor, holding his mop, he said, "I help put a man on the moon." I think that's fantastic. That's awesome. The man probably didn't know any calculations whatsoever. He didn't know what an ozone layer is, what thrust engines are. But with his mop, he knew how he was adding value, how he was contributing to putting a man on the moon. And so, to build that level of engagement, our people in our teams, the people that we lead, ought to be able to understand how their individual contribution adds to the shared objectives and goals. It brings meaning in their work. And then the second part to build that level of engagement, it's for you and I in the teams and the people that we work with being able to give each other the feedback that we need to actually grow and become better at what we do. In most cases, you and I may actually agree that you've had an experience where you receive feedback and you didn't feel like doing anything. It probably got you upset. But it's giving each other feedback to bring development and growth. When we achieve interest, when we achieve engagement in our teams, satisfaction is almost inevitable. The same way that nobody puts a gun to your head to say, hey, get on Instagram. It's the same way even in our work. When people are interested, when people are engaged with their work, they just love it and they keep doing it and they find so much satisfaction in what they do. And so, whether you're a leader, whether you're in a team, whether you're a manager, at this moment, allow me to say, as humans who work with fellow humans on various tasks and various objectives, we owe each other the responsibility to create a space where people can be interested, deeply engaged with their work, and find satisfaction and fulfillment. And in that way, we create high performance in our teams.